both the brand, the product, and it's becoming stateful, right? I mean, like ChatGPT now is not just, in fact, search was a stateless. There was search history, but I think more so these agents will be a lot more stateful. So, in fact, that's why I was so thrilled. Like, I've been trying to get an Apple search deal for like 10 years. And so when Tim finally did a deal with Sam, I was like the most thrilled person, which is better. It's better to have ChatGPT get that deal than anybody else, because we have that commercial and investor relationship with OpenAI. So to that point, the way I look at it and say is, at the same time, distribution matters. Right. I mean, this is where Google has an enormous advantage, right? They have the distribution on Apple. They're the default. They are obviously the default on Android. They touch. So therefore, I think, and the habits don't go away, right? I mean, the number of times you just go to the browser URL and just type in your query, right? I mean, even now, even though I want to go to Copilot, I mean, my usage is mostly Copilot. And like, if I have to think about Bing versus Copilot, it's kind of interesting, right? Some of the navigational stuff, I go to Bing. Pretty much everything else, I go to Copilot, right? That shift, I think, is what's happening universally. And we are away maybe one or two of these agents for shopping or travel, away from even some of the commercial query. That's the time when the dam breaks, I think, on traditional search, when some of the commercial intent also migrates into the chat. Right now, mostly the business has withstood because the commercial intent has not migrated. But once commercial intent migrates, that's when it suddenly moves. Yeah. And so I think, yes, this is a secular shift. The way we are managing it is we have three properties in Mustafa's world, right? There is Bing, MSN, and Copilot. So we think, in fact, he's got a crisp vision of what these three things are. They're all sort of one ecosystem. One is a feed, one is search in the traditional way, and then the other is this new agent, interface. And they all have a social contract with content providers. We need to drive traffic. We need to have paywalls. Maybe we need to have ad-supported models, all of those. And so that's what we're trying to manage. We have our own distribution. The one advantage we do still have is Windows. We get to relitigate. We lost the browser, right? Even Chrome became the dominant browser, which is a real travesty because we had won against Netscape only to lose to Google. And we are getting it back now in an interesting way, both with Edge and with Copilot. Guess what? Now even Gemini has to earn. Like, the good news about Windows, for at least, is it's the open system, right? ChatGPT has a shot. Gemini has a shot. You don't have to call Microsoft. You can go do your best work and go over the top. But that also means we also get to. Having lost it is great sometimes because you can win it all back. And so to me, even Windows distribution, I mean, I always say Google makes more money on Windows than all of Microsoft. I mean, literally. I mean, and I say, wow, this is the best news for Microsoft shareholders, that we lost so badly that we can now go contest it and win back some share.
Hey, Satya, one thing everybody's talking about these agents, and if you just kind of think forward in your mind a bit, you can imagine all kind of players wanting to enact action on other apps and other data that may be on a system. And, Microsoft's in an interesting position because you control the Windows ecosystem, but you have apps on like the iPhone ecosystem or the Android ecosystem.